Hello and welcome to North Country Matters. My name is Donna Seymour. I'm a member of the St. Lawrence County League of Women Voters, one of the civic partners for our show. My guest today is Bowman. Dustin is with the Canton Sustainability Committee, and he's here today to talk to us about the second North Country Repair Fair, which is scheduled for April 25th in the Canton Recreation Pavilion. Dustin, welcome back to North Country Matters. The last time we had you on, it was to talk about the Canton Pollinator Trail, and maybe we can get a quick update on that at the end of today's show.
Yeah, be happy to share the buzz, and thank you so much again for having me back, Donna. It's a pleasure.
Well, it's what we do here, so I'm glad we can do this. So, Dustin, in a nutshell, what is a repair fair in case this is something that people haven't heard about before?
Yeah, and that's fair. I hadn't heard of it either until a few years ago. I volunteered at one in Addison County in Vermont. And that one was run through their solid waste district. And so they would hold an event every year that brought community members together that had skill sets that meant that they could repair household items. And so a repair fair, big picture, is a location, an event where people volunteer their knowledge and their skill and expertise in fixing things like small appliances or lamps or like broken chairs. Um, your favorite pair of jeans that has a rip in them in an inconvenient place. Um, so these people come and they volunteer their time and their knowledge to help people fix their broken items. So if you're a member of the public, you bring your item to our repair fair, and we have one of our fixers who has expertise in that area take a look at it. There's no guarantee that it will be fixed on the day, but what they'll be able to do if they can't fix it in that moment is to point you to a local business or a person who might be doing like a side hustle that has expertise in that. So like it's not a dead end if they're not able to repair your item, we can pass it on to somebody in our community that has those skills. And I think what we saw that was so inspiring last year is that people sort of were discovering each other in real time. They were like, "Oh, you love sewing? I love sewing." And so like watching those connections with our fixers, which are the group of volunteers that fix the items, was really cool. And they kept saying like, yeah, this is great. Let's do this again next month. And I'm like, no, it almost killed me to organize this first event. So, yeah, we can talk more about like our continuation plan. But in a nutshell, it's essentially where people come together to have their like skills showcased and then fix items for folks that need some fixing. So it saves money and it does all these other things, and we can talk about that too. But yeah, it's really inspiring to see people come out for it. We had a lot of people show up last year. We had a 90% fix rate, which I'm told is one of the highest around. That may, I don't know if we can hold that, but we'll try. That'll be our the area that we try to, keep our standard high. Yeah, and it was just a really great time. So we're excited to have this again, and thank you to North Country Matters for hosting this conversation. It's really like the best way for us to get the word out about it.
Well, the thing about the Fix-It fairs is they're starting to really mushroom across the country. Lots of places, they hear about it, they think, hey, that's a great idea. We could do that. The other thing I think that is so important about things like this is it really gets people connected because you have a question, you need a repair, but you don't have any idea who to ask. So a repair fair is like a central repository of information and connections, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it reminded me of when you were talking about that. I think it reminded me of that quote. It's D.H. Lawrence maybe said it, but it's like uh, H2O is one part oxygen or one part hydrogen and two part or sorry, one part oxygen and two part hydrogen. And there's a third part, and we don't know what that is. And that's what makes water. And I think like events like these are they're the things that keep us connected. There was a saying, I'll try not to butcher this one as badly, but it was like you don't have to leave your community to live in a better one. And I think like if we can host places where community sort of naturally happens and coalesces and comes together, and people can feel less isolated, that just makes our community stronger. And we're known for having an independent spirit. So I think the repair fair mentality at its core is one of mending, and not relying on others, outside of the community. So like that kind of spirit of everything that we need is already here, and we don't need to be, kind of buying into this like wasteful spending pattern. We can actually, save our money, keep some of our money, and keep our items in use much longer, and at the same time meet some really cool individuals and make friends. So yeah, I thought it was going to be like we're just going to fix some lamps and people will have light at night that didn't before. But then we watched, people become friends and they were exchanging contact information. We had a bunch of people that were like under the age of 20, which, it's sometimes hard to find that demographic in the North Country, saying like, I'm really excited about next year's fair and I want to volunteer in some way. So I think it was like bridging a lot of different gaps. So it's not just like sort of wealth gaps or like blue collar, white collar. It was also intergenerational
Mhm.
community building. Um, and I don't know a lot of other events that do that. There are, but like to do it in this way, I think was really inspiring for the people that were involved. So we were happy that we had such a good turnout last year, and we're so excited to do another one again this year.
So, because this is the second repair fair that you folks have hosted, you learned a lot from the last one, and you've made some adjustments this time. So, what were some of the lessons that you drew from last year's fair?
You're giving us a lot of credit. You're assuming that we learned our lessons and we've made improvements. I hope we have. I think what we learned last year is that, first and foremost, outreach is really, really important. And in the North Country, we rely on our local media largely to get the word out. And so I think like having, finding fixers is like, how do you even do that? Like they're not just like growing up out of the ground. So what we did last year and what we're trying to lean into again this year is really like tapping into the local network. So finding um, outlets like yours, it's finding local champions who were like really interested in this idea and participated last year to help us spread the word in their networks. So I think like we have a lot of people talking in circles in the North Country, and we're trying to just sort of intersect with those as much as possible. And so staying in contact with our fixers is something that we've really worked on this year. We've come up with this. So one of our local champions is the is your public library. It's Canton Free Public Library. Many communities have a public library. They're incredible resources. They're the like pillars of our community, and they've been just such a good partner. We were talking recently, and what they want to do, and they're interested in hosting these things called, we're calling them fixer mixers, which will happen once a month. Um, and our fixers will be able to come together in the basement of the Canton Free Library, and there'll be like a item that we're going to work on that day, and then we'll do that. So it'll be a really cool place for us to pass that knowledge on, so the people that know what they're doing, they can like share that knowledge with others. And our hope is that we can, through these kind of activities, with the repair fair being the big one every year, we can kind of grow that spirit of what we call it, like the culture of repair. It's sort of like this idea that we don't have to be throwing things out. We can, build our own skill sets and feel that the power of doing that, I think, is really, really inspiring. And then we were trying to capture like our success from last year, and then how do we share that success with others? Because we didn't invent the repair fair wheel, we just borrowed it, and we had help to do that. So a couple of us last year went to the Adirondack Youth Climate Summit up in Tupper Lake at the Wild Center, which is highly recommend if you haven't been. Um, so they let us give a presentation on the repair fair, and one of the people that we talked to after the session works at the Lake Placid Elementary School, and then I just heard last month that they had hosted their first repair fair. So it's like a little like back to the pollinators. It's like we're kind of just spreading the pollen out with these good ideas. And then the kicker was we got the money from speaking at that event to pay for our venue, which is at the Canton pavilion on Lincoln Street. So we didn't have to pay out of pocket, which we did last year. Yeah, so it's just it's a lot of work, a lot of outreach, a lot of communication, but if you love it like we do, it's great work because you're just meeting all these people that live in your community that you never knew existed, and now they're like really jazzed to take part in something that you've been a part of creating. So it's really worthwhile.
You know, when you were talking about the circles and how they intersect, I had it in my mind a vision of these giant Venn diagrams, and each one has a different circle that connects with another circle. So, obviously, as you just mentioned, the important part of any repair fair is having the folks with the expertise to do the work and to share. So, what are the
Mhm.
skills and the talents you're looking for this year, Dustin?
Yeah, they're numerous. And I was thinking about a Venn diagram I was talking to, but also maybe like pancake batter and like pancakes merging together on a skillet. That might be because I skipped lunch today. So the skills that we're looking for are the same skills that we were looking for last year. And we're not limiting the skill sets really unless there's like a safety concern. Like we, talked about maybe having like a knife sharpening session last year, and it was like decided that might not be a great idea. And so the kind of the basic skill sets that we look for are textiles, sewing, electronics, small engine, small appliance. Anything with wood, leather, metal is really interesting to us. We heard that there's somebody in DeKalb Junction who repairs cast iron skillets, and I have yet to be able to locate that person, but if they're one of your viewers, please contact us. So if you have like essentially, if you have a niche talent, like there is something that somebody taught you at one point, or you're self-taught, we want to hear from you, and we want to incorporate your knowledge into our event. Um, the idea would be like if anyone walked through the door with their item, no matter what it is, no matter how random, we would be able to connect them with a fixer on the floor who would have some knowledge with that item, or like a similar item. And so that's the responsibility that we're carrying. We don't want people to like take the leap to bring their item and then feel like they didn't get anything out of the event. So even if they do bring their item and we're not able to repair it, we encourage people to walk around. And we also have sessions that we'll be running this year that we'll talk about in a minute. But we want everybody to feel like they're seen, that they have like that their item has value and it shouldn't be wasted. And that there's a community of people out there that are interested in helping them, so they feel less, kind of hopeless with their whatever their item is. We just want to give people the resources that are available in our community
it's
to help.
very frustrating to have something that you know that can be fixed and you can't figure out who to take it to. So this is a great thing. So if
Yeah.
someone has a skill that's willing to share or do hands-on repair, how do they get a hold of the Canton Sustainability Committee and sign up for the fair as a fixer?
Yeah, this is an improvement from our last conversation, Don. I'm actually going to give you the way to get in touch with me. So we have an email, it's a Gmail account. It's sustaincantonny. So that's all just one word,
Hmm.
sustaincantonny at gmail.com. And that will take you to the Canton Sustainability's Gmail account, which I am an administrator. So I've been checking that every day. We had let's see, it was a couple weeks ago, we reached out to the fixers from last year and let them know that we had our date set, that we had momentum building. So the inbox has been busy with people that they're coming back from last year, or they've talked to their neighbors or friends, and those folks are interested. And then we've had some local champions kind of spreading the word. Big Spoon Kitchen in Potsdam, St. Lawrence Nurseries in Potsdam, St. Lawrence University has been really great in supporting this with volunteers and just helping get the word out. So um, we want to hear from you. If you have interest in attending the event and just seeing what it's like, I think that's a good first step. And if you have um, a niche skill, like somebody mentioned, what about fixing food, like fermentation? That would be a really cool subject matter. Like we're really open to whatever it is that you find joy in, and if you're willing to share that knowledge, we would love to host you at this event.
So you had mentioned just a little bit ago about one of you're going to have some specific demonstration sessions throughout the afternoon. So tell us a little bit about what you have on tap, and what you might still be looking for in this area of the little demonstrations.
Yeah, this is a really interesting new facet that we're adding this year. So before or last year, it was people bring the item in and we tried to connect them to the fixer, and that went well. But we were thinking, wow, we have a really great parking lot at the pavilion. So the event takes place inside, like where the skating would normally happen. The ice is thankfully out, so we're not putting everybody into hypothermia. But the parking lot is ample out there. So we were thinking, how do we utilize that space a bit more in year two? So we came up with this idea to have these demo sessions, and essentially what they are like uh, they're places for you to just go and have like interactive conversations with people that specialize in, for instance, vintage clothing repair. We have somebody that's going to be doing repairs of gaming systems and controllers. We have someone who has expertise in woodwind instrument repair. We'll have somebody down from Saranac Lake, Silver Birch Cycles, the owner, Justin, he'll be there talking about bike comfort and fit and basic tune-up, mechanical things for your bike. So April 25th is a really good time to be thinking about getting back on your your two-wheeled ride. And if it sounds a little squeaky and things aren't quite matching up, like we would have Justin there to help you kind of diagnose what that might be. So we hope to have more of these sessions. I think we've got four right now that are guaranteed, but we have interest in other areas. So I put together a small list. Fermentation, like I
Mhm.
mentioned, I think somebody that has expertise in small engines would have a big audience at one of our demos. Sewing machine repair, the actual like, so whether it's mechanical or a newer machine, I think that would be really useful. Houseplant prescribed methods for fixing your houseplant maybe would be great. Like actually bringing in your houseplant and having somebody who knows about plants say like, oh, you've got aphids or you've got some like mold issues or overwatering. That would be really interesting. So the topic areas are limitless. And it really is like, we're sort of challenging the North Country to tell us, what do you know? Like, tell us what you have to offer, and if you're willing, we'll find an audience, to listen. So that's our hope that people will bring an item, but then also take some time to attend one of these 20-minute demos and
Mhm.
kind of get a more in-depth view of like how to fix their, the thing that they have in mind to get mended.
You know, the truth is that fix-it skills are something that our grandparents and our parents had, but for some reason today's modern generations don't have as much hands-on experience. A lot of times it takes specialized tools, and if you don't have the tool, then that makes it tough as well. But these are all things that we can learn, and we just need somebody to sort of take us by the hand and demonstrate this is the way you wire a lamp. It's not rocket science. But if you've never done it, it can feel pretty overwhelming. So having these sessions with somebody who's been there and done that is really going to open doors for people.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that any better. I think there's like a common sentiment from our fixers that they're just so happy to share this knowledge and like um I think none of yeah, I think sharing them intergenerationally is great. I think the one of the lessons we learned last year is like you're never too old to learn a new skill. It's part of being alive is learning and like feeling the power of knowing how to repair something when you didn't know how to do it before. It's it's really addictive. I think the people that volunteer at our event, and the people that attend our event are kind of blown away by this like feeling of just being welcome and in this community that uh, yeah, just has so much to offer. So I think, like I said before, we're trying to build a culture of repair in the North Country, which we have the skills, but the problem is a lot of the people that have the skills that were taught those skills, they're either moving out of the area or they're passing on, sadly. So like we want to capture that before it's lost. And that's a legacy thing, but it's also just it's just a powerful thing to be able to repair really any item. So like we're talking about waste, so we have to talk about reducing your environmental footprint. That definitely is part of this. We're a wasteful society, and that's a global phenomenon essentially, but we don't have to be. We can choose a different path if we want to. Um, this is a way for us to highlight local resources like the Canton Free Library, which has a free tool lending
Mhm.
library, which is amazing. I didn't know that that existed until last year's event, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So there's all those reasons. There's, even people talk about addressing the feeling of loneliness and
Mhm.
isolation, especially among men. Where they might feel like they're not like worthy of these skills or like it's too late in life to learn them. That's certainly not true, or they don't have a place to share what they've already learned in their experience. I think that's really important. So we're providing a venue for that. We're bridging silos. We're keeping more of the talent and wealth and everything inside of our community. And then we're just showcasing the amazing community that exists here that might be sort of invisible for people, but we have so much to offer each other and other communities. It's just taking that step. So we're happy to be just a small part of like showcasing uh, yeah, just the skills that exist all around us.
Well, the truth is that if you can do something and you're willing to do it, you'll have more friends than you know what to do with, because sooner or later the word will get out. And it's it's like the guy. My husband has old cars, and so he has a car hauler trailer. And the joke among old car guys is, "You got a trailer, you'll have friends." So because not everybody needs one, obviously. So let's talk a little
I got
bit.
to talk to your husband. I need a
Yeah,
trailer
okay,
for
fine.
something.
Let's talk about the mechanics of the repair fair. When, where, and at what time, so that people know when to show up and where to
Yeah,
come.
absolutely. So it's an event that runs 8:30 to 12:30 on Saturday morning, April 25th. We're holding it again at the Canton Recreational Pavilion on Lincoln Street. This is the site of the venue or the event last year. The Canton Rec Department has been amazing partners in this. They get us set up with electricity and safety, and they make sure that we have all of our tables and chairs set up. Um, they're just really great partners. They kind of that venue. I don't think I could create a better venue. Honestly, it's like we've got a great parking lot. It's all accessible. It's all one level. It's all ADA compliant. Um, and we can get everybody into the rink really easily. And there's sort of like a lobby area if for folks that haven't been to the pavilion, and then you go in and we've got volunteers that will help you with the intake form. So you'll write down what your item is, what you're looking to have done with it. We'll get you connected with a fixer. Sometimes the fix takes a little bit longer than, just a few minutes. So like you'll have a chance to walk around and watch other items being mended, talk to other fixers, talk to other attendees. We provide lunch for our volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering at this event, whether it's as a fixer or somebody that could help with intake and parking and safety and that sort of thing, we need volunteers as well. So we try to support our people. And yeah, it's just been a really, with that venue and with these partners, it's been a really great experience so far as an organizer of this, and the Canton Sustainability Committee has been really supportive of this too. So it went from a idea on on a napkin basically to a real thing pretty quickly. Yeah, so we're again just so excited to host again, and we hope that people come out.
And it's a real thing 2.0 now, because it's those are the kind of ideas that grow. So Dustin, in our remaining couple of minutes, let's get an update from you about the Canton Pollinator Trail. Spring, we hope, is just around the corner. So more work can get done to help plant those species that support our pollinators. What's the latest news?
Yeah, I think right. The interest in pollinators hasn't gone away since the last time we talked. I think it's only grown. This has felt like a really long winter. I think the last time we spoke, it was a pretty mild one, so people were puttering around in their gardens all winter. But here, it's like you meet people that like haven't left their house in a month. Um, We are currently, the Canton Sustainability is currently active in pollinator spaces. So if you're interested in like how you can participate in community pollinator garden spaces or plantings on your own property, let us know. We have a lot of resources, a lot of connections. We have volunteers that are willing to help. The two projects that we have going right now are there's the space where the McDonald's was on
Mhm.
West Main. So we've installed raised beds there. We've got pollinator seed down. We're really excited to have that be sort of a pollinator garden showpiece right in the center of Canton, next to the municipal building. One that's a little bit further out from town that just started to get revived. I'm excited about. It's on the Boyden Road in the intersection of Boyden and Farnes. There's a sort of a grassy, sandy parallelogram that just has been mowed by the town. So we have the permission from the town and the neighbors to install a garden there. So we'll be working with the St. Lawrence Nurseries folks and some volunteers in their network, and also at St. Lawrence, there's some students there that'll be helping. Hopefully, get like a pollinator garden built there this spring, and one that will have that'll be sort of like a big installation. It's going to be a really beautiful spot, I think. So we're really excited about that one. I think. We would love to hear like if people have areas that they're interested in, like how do they convert that space into a more bird and bug friendly environment, like to let us know because the Adirondacks have some really great resources. I think we're building some out locally, and yeah, let's get connected to help our our flying friends out there.
So let's just take a minute to remind folks that the Canton Sustainability Committee, you have regular meetings that you meet by Zoom at 5 o'clock on the first Tuesday of each month. And the meetings are open and everyone is welcome. So it's not like you have to be an official member of the committee. And it's that same Gmail account for all of this stuff. So, anybody who's interested in finding out more about what you guys do and maybe duplicating the same thing in their own community, this is a great place to start, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and I'll go back to that quote that I messed up earlier. You don't have to leave your community to live in a better one. So there are people out there, if you're feeling kind of uh, hopeless or like there's, not much that you can do, I think one of the best antidotes right now is to get involved with your local community and give back. That feeling of public service and sort of laboring to help someone else or to take part in something that's a lot bigger than yourself. It's such a good feeling right now and so important for so many people. So we're very open. If anybody wants to join our meetings or participate or join our committee, we'd love to have you. And yeah, we just really thank you for living in the North Country because it's a great place to live. And yeah, who wouldn't want to be here? So let's make it better.
Hey, I agree 100%. So thank you so much, Dustin, for coming in and talking about the repair fair and giving us the update on the pollinator garden and the great work that the Sustainability Committee is doing because it is a real showcase of community action, community involvement, and can-do attitude. And it's very heartening to see that because you're exactly right when you say that that's what people are looking for.
Thanks, Donna. You nailed it.
Yeah, well, uh, I've had practice, my friend. At any rate, let me just remind folks that these conversations are a production of North Country Matters. This show is a civic collaboration between the League of Women Voters of St. Lawrence County and the Potsdam Public Library. And until next time, remember, our North Country matters, and it's full of people who can fix things. So go to the repair fair and meet them.